Hey, what's up? This is Chosen. Happy Friday to you. I hope you've had a good week. And as we head into the weekend here, we have got some insane news in Raid Shadow Legends. There is going to be a new Fragment Summon champion, and it has been announced. We know the kit, and we've got some awesome abilities in this kit. So I am going to give you full context as to how I feel about the Fragment champion starting exactly 1 week from now on next Friday. And while we're here, we'll get you full context and everything happening as we head into the weekend. Let's get into it. Alrighty, so like I said, we've got Mighty Uko here, and this is going to be the next Fragment champion, and the events for acquiring those fragments will start exactly 1 week from me releasing this video on Friday, September 9th. So as we dive into the kit, we've got an A1, which is an AoE. We love that. And we've got a 50% chance of placing a 50% decrease attack for 2 turns. Now, this is really solid because when we have an AoE A1, we can do lots of different things. We can put a stun set, or we can get constant AoE suppression of whatever effect it is. And in this case, it is decreased attack. It'd be great for any content, making your entire team more tanky on the AoE A1. Now, it starts out as a 50% chance. The one thing I don't like about these infographics, I think they're a great addition to the game that Plarium has been doing the last 5 or 6 months, but I wish we could see the books and the cooldowns and stuff like that on these abilities they're laying out. So all we can kind of do is predict. I'm going to bet that this goes up to like a 75% chance. I'm going to bet we get like a book for 10 and a book for 15 with a couple damage books. There's probably like 4 books here, and it goes up to like a 75% chance if I had to guess, but obviously it could be wrong. Then we've got an A2, attack all enemies 2 times, which is going to be very important on this ability because each hit has a 75% chance that I'm sure we can book this up to 100. So chance to remove 2 random buffs from the target. And then we're going to place a block buffs debuff and a 50% decrease accuracy debuff for 2 turns on targets that have no buffs after the attack. So the reason I say the multi-hitter is important is because each hit is gonna be an opportunity to steal a buff. So we could steal up to 4 buffs from a target, and then if they don't have 5 buffs, like if we steal everything they had, we're then also gonna block buffs and lower their accuracy. So it starts out as a 4-turn cooldown. I'm gonna bet this books to 3. So an absolutely cracked ability here for basically all content in the game, because buff manipulation is some of the most important stuff that you can do in general in Raid, and we're going to be stripping buffs and also blocking buffs on the same ability with a 100% chance that looks like it books to a 3-turn cooldown. So yeah, absolutely insane. Then we've got the A3, revive all dead allies with 40% HP, and then place a block damage buff on them for 1 turn. Also a 30% increased speed on all allies for 2 turns. And we'll place this increased speed even if there are no dead allies. So what that means is if there's nothing to revive, that Uko is still going to do this ability right here and place the increased speed on the entire team. And the only time the block damage buff will occur is if the person is actually revived. And this starts out with a 6-turn cooldown, so I'm gonna bet that this books to 4 right there on the A3. Then we've got a passive, a 50% chance of stealing 1 random buff from an enemy each time they receive a buff. Any stolen buff becomes protected. This is ridiculous. This is crazy. Just passive ancillary value of stealing, not placing, stealing from your opponent and then protecting it. And I love abilities like this that are just passive value on the battlefield, where things happen and you just get bonuses for things happening. So right here, 50% chance of stealing a random buff from an enemy each time they receive a buff is absolutely insane. It's one of the best passives in the game, again, because it's guaranteed value, it's passive value that doesn't have any qualifiers, and it's buff manipulation. And then on top of that, this champion did not even need an aura to be good, but we're getting one of the best auras in the game in 20% speed in all battles. So yeah, this champion, I really don't think there's another way to think about this. I haven't really looked at what the community thinks yet. I kind of got to the computer, saw this was coming out, and started working on a video. But I'm going to guess if I host a community poll on the channel, that probably like 80% will say S tier, and then like 15% will say A tier, And then the rest of like 5% will say other of like, you know, B or whatever. But this champion is completely insane and a really, really, really good support. And by the time you're seeing this, I will have a community poll up on the YouTube channel probably. So make sure you head on over to the community tab and cast your vote. But don't let my opinion sway you. I want to hear your honest opinions on polls like that. So let me know what you think. And I think this champion is going to grade out as an S for sure. Probably one of the best Fragment events they've ever done. Going to be similar to Helicath. Helicath was very solid, but this champion probably even has me a little bit more hype than Helicath did. So yeah, get your energy ready, get your resources ready, and prepare because you're not going to want to miss out on the fragments for the new Fragment Champion starting next Friday, which, you know, depending on your spending tier, might change what you want to do with your Ancient Shards here this weekend because we do have Ancient Shards boosted up. You can see the 16% rate and the 1% rate on Legendaries. We are going to have a 2x Ancient weekend, and we do have a guaranteed champion right here in Geforce Brass Clad. Now, I will try to remember to pop up a video. I did a dedicated video discussing if Geforce Brass Clad is worth 140 Ancient Shards, so definitely check that out if you would like to see the full breakdown. In conclusion, I think he's, like, if you're looking for the too long didn't watch version here in this video, I think he's okay. Like I think he's fun at a role that he does. I don't think he's an account-defining, account-changing meta-type champion. So it depends on your account and your spending tier. But in general, I would say that if you're still in the early to mid-game, it's not really a bad idea to pull shards during 2x Ancients because you still need so many epics and legendaries to round out things like Faction Wars rosters. But if you're endgame, I would maybe hold off for specialized events like the fragments for the new champion next Friday or guaranteed summoning events for champions that are crazy like Lady Kimmy. We will also be getting a CVC tournament, clan versus clan, during the Mighty Uko Fragment events because the events will be starting next Friday. So we will not have a CVC next week. So here in about 4 days on Tuesday, there will not be a CVC, but in about 10 or 11 days on the Tuesday after that, right after the events for Uko start, we are going to be getting a CVC happening then. So you're really going to be strapped for resources. It'll be a calm, like next 7 days or so. It'll be calm and raid, but then after that, you're going to have a period of about 10 to 15 days where it's going to be go time. It's going to be CVC and getting all these fragments for a champion that you definitely don't want to miss out on. So prepare your accounts accordingly. While we're here, we'll go over the stuff happening in game right now to get you caught up as we head into the weekend. But we've got like just a normal spider tournament right here. The top 4 are getting Relentless and Ancient Shards. So worth noting there that it's a group of 100, and the top 4, depending on how realistic it is, you might be able to scoop up some resources there. And then the Champion Chase tournament going on as well is going to be the same thing with the top 4 getting a book and some charms and some Relentless gear. So, you know, don't feel bad if you're missing out on these, but definitely keep note that they are a little bit more impactful than normal. It seems usually it's the top 2 that are getting that stuff there. And then there's a classic arena takedown with fragments right here. So you want to make sure if you are doing that epic fragment summon, you want to get the 390 on your classic arena takedown by the end of the day so you don't miss out on keeping pace there. Then under the events tab, we've got artifact enhancement going on right now, and you want to get I would say probably, I mean, you can never really go wrong if you've got the silver to upgrade your artifacts. So getting Chaos Ore is pretty tough to come by. I would at least at minimum get the 5 core hammers here at 1,000. And if you've got silver to do the rest, why not? As long as it's not going to hinder you on the fragment events starting next Friday. And then we've also got a couple other events going on. The champion training is going to be relevant for the champion fragments. Get to 6950 if you're doing that, and make sure you're focusing on that because that one ends today. And then Dungeon Divers is also going to be ending today. So a lot of attention needing to be paid if you are going after that epic champion. And even if you're not, you want to get to 1200 here on Dungeon Divers to scoop up your 10 core hammers. But if you are going for the epic, make sure you get to 2850 to keep pace there. I want to pop into the shop and see if there's anything that we really need to talk about here. If I see anything that's good for you diligent spenders. Yeah, not really. I'm not seeing an offer that I would really recommend to the majority of the player base that is looking to spend on Raid. Some of these are only going to be good for people towards the higher tier of spending. Like this string pack here could be decent, but it's not going to be amazing value compared to what we usually see. And nothing else is really jumping off the board to me. Mostly just some average offers. So, okay, wow, we needed to get a video out there talking about Mighty Uko because let me know what you think. I think this is going to be one of the best Fragment champions they've ever done. They had Underpriest Brogni, was a hybrid event. They had Helicath, and they've had some pretty solid ones. They had Torment was a fusion, Rotos. They've had some really good ones. This has an opportunity to be one of the best ones they've ever done. I love buff manipulation. I love passive guaranteed value. I love general utility like we're getting from the buff manipulation and the aura, the AoE A1. Lots of fun stuff that this champion is checking in terms of utility they bring to your account. So in my opinion, make sure you're preparing the next week so that you do not miss out on having enough resources to go after this champion because you're not going to want to miss it. So as always, remember to subscribe on your way out if you enjoy daily Raid Shadow Legends content, and I appreciate you watching. I will see you soon in the next video. Peace.